There's a certain kind of loneliness only intelligent people know. It's not the loneliness of being physically alone. It's the loneliness of thinking too deeply in a world that prefers not to think at all. A quiet ache that follows you even in a room full of people. Carl Jung believed that the more conscious a person becomes, the more isolated they feel. Not because anything is wrong with them, but because fewer and fewer people can meet them at the depth where they live. If you've ever wondered why you struggle to connect, why conversations feel empty, why people drain you, or why you often feel out of place, this video is for you. Jung believed there is a reason why intelligent, self-aware, emotionally perceptive people often feel so alone, and today we're going to explore it. 1. They see too much. Intelligent people don't simply look at the world, they look into it. They notice contradictions in someone's story, the tension behind a smile, the insecurity hidden beneath confidence, the loneliness disguised as humor. They pick up on emotional currents long before others feel them. Jung believed that this kind of perception creates a natural gap between people, because once you see beneath the surface, you can't unsee it. You can't pretend you don't know what you know, and most people are uncomfortable being truly seen, so they keep their distance. Intelligent people often feel alone because their mind refuses to operate at a superficial level. They want honesty, clarity, meaning, and truth, but the world runs on illusions, masks, and unspoken fears. When you see too deeply, you also feel too deeply. You sense people's wounds, their projections, their defenses, and while others glide through life, untouched by the subtleties around them, you carry the weight of every nuance. The more you perceive, the more isolated you become, because depth is a language only a few people can speak. 2. Their inner world is too big for most people. Intelligent people often feel alone because the world they carry inside themselves is vast, far larger, richer, and more complex than what most people ever explore within themselves. Their mind is constantly creating ideas, theories, possibilities, stories, questions, connections. Their intuition is active, their imagination vivid, their emotions layered. Jung believed that the individual who lives close to their inner world naturally separates from the collective, because few people can understand the landscape of someone who thinks and feels on multiple levels at once. Intelligent people can spend hours inside their own thoughts and never feel bored, but try sharing those same thoughts with others, and they're often met with confusion, disinterest, or misunderstanding. This creates a silent divide. Others touch only the surface of who they are, while their true self remains unshared, untouched, unseen, and the more their inner world grows, the harder it becomes to invite others into it, because most people step in for a moment, look around, and leave without ever comprehending its depth. They are not lonely because their world is empty. They are lonely because it is full, and few people can enter. 3. They can't tolerate shallow connections. For intelligent people, shallow connections feel like starvation. They can sit in a room full of people, talking, laughing, exchanging casual words, and still feel painfully alone, because nothing real is being shared. Jung believed that the deeper a person's inner world becomes, the more they crave authenticity, vulnerability, and meaning. They're not impressed by status, trends, or empty social rituals. They're drawn to conversations that reveal the truth of someone's soul. But most people avoid depth because it requires discomfort, self-reflection, honesty, emotional courage. So intelligent people often find themselves surrounded by interactions that feel hollow, predictable, or forced. They don't want endless small talk. They want to understand someone's dreams, fears, wounds, desires, contradictions. And when a connection lacks substance, their mind drifts, their energy fades, their heart closes. They're not antisocial. They're understimulated. They don't distance themselves because they think they're better. They distance themselves because superficiality feels like suffocation, and as long as depth is rare, loneliness becomes inevitable. 4. They overthink and feel everything deeply. Intelligent people don't just think, they feel their thoughts. Every emotion becomes a question. Every question becomes a doorway. Every doorway leads to something deeper they can't ignore. Jung believed that heightened self-awareness is both a gift and a burden, because the mind that sees more must also process more. While others move through life untouched by their own inner workings, intelligent individuals are constantly navigating the intensity of their emotions, their fears, their intuitions, and their doubts. They analyze their relationships, their choices, their desires, and their mistakes with a level of honesty that most people avoid. This creates an invisible distance. They are living in layers of meaning, while others remain on the surface. Even joy feels deeper, but so does pain. Even love feels deeper, but so does loss. They don't overthink because they want to. They overthink because their mind refuses to accept the easy answer, the convenient illusion, the shallow explanation. And because they process life on a deeper level, they often feel like outsiders, watching a world that moves too fast, speaks too loudly, and feels too little. 5. They refuse to become someone they're not. Intelligent people often feel alone because they cannot twist themselves into shapes that don't belong to them just to fit in. They can't fake interest in conversations that feel empty. They can't pretend to agree just to avoid conflict. They can't hide their thoughts to make others more comfortable. Jung believed that authenticity is the first step toward individuation, and the moment a person chooses authenticity, they naturally separate from the collective. Most people trade pieces of themselves for acceptance. They adjust their personality, their opinions, their values just to belong. But intelligent individuals feel this as self-betrayal. They would rather stand alone than shrink their depth to match the expectations of people who fear real emotion or real truth. And because they refuse to dilute themselves, they often walk through life feeling like too much in a world that prefers simple explanations, simple emotions, simple people. Their integrity becomes a barrier, their honesty becomes a filter, and their self-respect becomes a kind of solitude. They're not alone because no one wants them. They're alone because they won't abandon who they are just to be chosen. 6. They walk a path few people understand. Intelligent people often feel alone because the direction of their life naturally pulls them away from the collective and toward themselves. Jung called this the path of individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming who you truly are beneath conditioning, fear, and expectation. Most people avoid this path because it requires introspection, honesty, and the courage to confront the parts of themselves they'd rather never meet. But intelligent individuals can't help it. Their mind pushes them toward growth, toward truth, toward self-awareness, even when the journey is uncomfortable. This creates an invisible distance between them and the world, because while others chase external validation, they chase inner understanding. While others stay in familiar patterns, they question everything. While others settle for convenience, they search for meaning. And the deeper they go into themselves, the fewer people walk beside them. Not because they think they're superior, but because most people never choose to walk that far. Their loneliness is not a flaw. It's a sign that they're moving in a direction many never dare to explore. Intelligent people are not meant to be surrounded by many. They are meant to be found by the few who can meet them fully. So if you feel alone right now, don't shrink yourself to fit the world. Stay patient, stay true, and trust that the right people will recognize you, not because you tried to belong, but because you chose to become who you really are. If this video made you feel understood, let me know in the comments. And if you want more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe, give it a like, and share with someone who might need to hear it. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.